I always believed marriage was built on honesty, loyalty, and a sense of comfort. The kind that let you laugh together even when life threw its worst. That's why when my husband's best friend, Jake, made those strange comments and flirty remarks, I always laughed them off. I thought he was joking, but then he got serious. It started during a 4th of July barbecue at our house in Atlanta. My husband, David, was on the grill, flipping burgers and sipping beer, while Jake lounged nearby, sunglasses perched on his head, watching everyone with his usual laid-back grin. He had always been a flirt, the kind of guy who made everyone, men and women, feel like they were the most interesting person in the room. But that day, his attention was focused almost entirely on me. "You should wear red more often, Laura," he said as he handed me a plate. "Brings out the fire in you." I laughed, feeling the heat rise to my cheeks. "Well, thank you, Mr. Smooth Talker." He winked. "Just saying what your husband should have noticed." It was the kind of thing Jake always said. Bold. Ridiculous. But nothing I ever took seriously. Over the next few weeks, Jake started showing up more often. At first, it was always with David, watching the game, grabbing dinner, hanging out on the porch. But then David started working longer hours, and Jake kept coming by anyway, dropping off a bottle of wine, asking if I wanted company while watching a movie, offering to help fix that loose cabinet in the kitchen. One evening, I was folding laundry in the living room when Jake stopped by unexpectedly. "David's working late again?" he asked, settling onto the couch like he belonged there. "Yeah," I sighed. "He's been swamped with this new project." Jake looked at me for a moment, then smiled. "He's lucky. If you were mine, I wouldn't let a job steal my time with you." I froze, unsure whether to laugh or get angry. I chose to laugh. "Stop it. You're terrible." But Jake didn't smile this time. He leaned forward. "I mean it, Laura. I'm done joking. You know there's something between us. I feel it. And I know you do too." My heart pounded. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. I should have kicked him out, told him to leave and never come back. But instead, I sat there staring at him. And the silence spoke louder than anything I could have said. From that moment on, things changed. I avoided Jake for days, refusing his calls and ignoring his texts. But a part of me was shaken, not just by what he said, but by how right it felt. David and I had been drifting for months. We barely spoke. When we did, it was about bills, work, groceries. The spark we once had felt like a distant memory. Jake, on the other hand, was always present. He listened. He looked at me like I was still the woman worth fighting for. And the more I tried to resist that thought, the more it consumed me. One rainy Friday afternoon, everything unraveled. David had called to say he'd be working late again, and I had just curled up on the couch with tea and a book. The doorbell rang. Jake stood there, soaked, holding an umbrella and a bottle of wine. "Thought you could use some company," he said. I didn't stop him this time. The evening started slow, music, laughter, the comfort of familiarity. But as the night deepened, so did the tension. His hand brushed mine once, then again, and I didn't move it away. When he kissed me, I kissed him back. I don't know how long we sat there in the quiet after, the wine forgotten, the rain tapping against the windows. I only know the weight of what we'd done settled over me like a fog. This wasn't a joke anymore. This was real. The guilt came fast and hard. The next morning, I couldn't even look at myself in the mirror. David came home that evening, exhausted but cheerful. He kissed me on the forehead and asked how my day was. I smiled and lied. But the lie didn't sit well. And as days passed, it got harder to carry. Jake, now emboldened, wanted more. He sent me texts filled with longing, showed up when David wasn't around, whispered promises of a future together. And for a time I believed him. Until I found out the truth. Jake had done this before, with another woman, another marriage, another so-called friend. I found messages, not meant for me, on his phone when he left it behind at my place one afternoon. And suddenly, I saw everything clearly. I wasn't special. I was just another conquest. The confrontation was ugly. He didn't deny it. He just shrugged. "I thought you knew. This was never about love, Laura. It was about what you needed." I kicked him out. Then came the hardest part, telling David. I sat across from him, my hands shaking, my heart breaking. I told him everything. The visits. The kiss. The betrayal. He didn't yell. He didn't curse. He just sat there, silent, eyes full of something deeper than anger, disappointment. We tried counseling. Tried to rebuild. For months, it was a daily struggle. Trust once broken is hard to repair. But David, despite everything, wanted to try. He told me he'd rather fight for what we had than throw it away. It's been a year now. Some days are still hard. There are moments when the past haunts us both. But we've built new memories. We talk more. Laugh more. And sometimes when I catch him looking at me across the room, I see a spark. The same spark I thought we had lost. There's one moment that still lingers with me. A day about 3 months into our counseling, when David and I were cleaning the garage together, we found an old photo album, tucked beneath a dusty toolbox. As we sat cross-legged on the floor, flipping through pictures of our early days, he stopped at one photo. It was from our honeymoon. I was in a wide-brimmed sun hat, laughing, ice cream in hand, David beside me with chocolate smudged on his nose. He touched the photo gently. You used to laugh like that all the time. Tears welled in my eyes. I want to be that woman again. Then let's find her together, he said. That was the day something shifted. It wasn't instant healing, but it was the beginning of hope. We started taking short weekend trips. Nothing fancy, just hikes, beach days, or late-night drives with no destination. We began dating again. Small notes on the fridge. Surprise lunches at work. Holding hands in public, something we hadn't done in years. Jake, on the other hand, faded out of our lives entirely. I heard he moved to another city. Started dating someone new. I deleted his number, blocked him on every platform. I never wanted a reminder of the damage he caused, or the mistake I made in letting him in. But ultimately, I owned that mistake. And I've grown from it. I don't tell this story to justify what I did, or to blame Jake for everything. I tell it because sometimes, in the middle of marriage, we lose each other. We drift apart without realizing it. And in that space, temptation finds room to breathe. But what matters most is what we choose next. I chose to confess. I chose to fight for the man I loved. And miraculously, he chose to fight for me too. I thought Jake was joking. But then he got serious. And in the end, I realized the biggest joke was thinking someone else could love me more than the man who never stopped trying. Even when I gave him every reason to walk away. Never again.